Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. I love you all. My name is Miah the King, and I was going to try an all-almond diet, but that's just nuts. Thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're wondering why you're here, then let me tell you. For the funny one-liner jokes at the start of each video, of course, and if that's not it, perhaps it's because I'm one of the few reviewers, if not the only one out there, who can help you figure out if you need this game in 10 minutes or less. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Empire of the Ants, and yes, I know, technically the game had an early release this week if you paid for it, and I should have done it then, but if you didn't watch my last video, then let me tell you why I didn't. My wife was actually attacked by a dog. No, I'm not kidding. After that, I was kind of distracted and didn't do the video when I should have. I'm sorry about that, but don't worry, my wife is fine and now has given me permission to talk about it, and I'm also now here and doing this video at this point in time. I just hope that you people still watch it. Anyway, this game was developed by Tower 5 and published by Microids, released not in early access, and is selling for $40. So, what is this game? Well, it's basically an ant-based RTS, and that's pretty much it. You play as some random numbered ant who is some leader of some kind within the colony. Now you do as the queen commands, and that's it for the story. And so yeah, let's just do what we always do and go into the good and the bad, alright? So the first thing for the positives is the graphics. Now the game looks simply beautiful. It's got amazing lighting and shadows, great contrasting, good color palettes, and attention to detail. The animations look good, the bugs look good, the environment looks good, it just all looks really good. Hell, it all looks great. I was very pleased with the graphics. It's so pretty, it's so beautiful. Every moment of playing the game was great. It was a feast for the eyes. Next up for the positives is the gameplay. The game's gameplay is actually really coherent and well designed. You play as a solitary ant who can freely walk around and jump and climb on anything. However, there's also elements of base building and controlling your armies. There was a game I played long time ago, I think it was on the original Xbox, where you played this leader in a battle and you controlled your units in a similar fashion. Can't remember what it was, but anyway, you have base building and these little nests, and if you own them, great, go ahead and start building using the resources of wood and food that your hive accumulates. If you don't have enough, then go conquer other nests. These are how you expand. You can build resource structures, defensive structures, research structures, etc., each serving the purpose you'd expect them to serve. You can send ants out to collect resources, scout out dangerous areas, though you should probably be the one doing that since you're all by yourself and you can move faster than everybody else. And you can have them attack random enemy bugs that you might find infringing on your territory. Now, I played both the campaign and the multiplayer. Yes, there is a campaign, and it has its good and its bad. The good is that it has a campaign at all. It also has a somewhat bland story, but at least it's got one. And it's automatically kind of interesting since it's all done from the perspective of ants. There are various unit types that you can research and unlock and then build. Each nest can only hold one legion of warriors or whatever, so depending on how many nests you have, depends on how many legions you get. They can be upgraded, both the nests and the legions, and it offers quite a large variety of things that you can do or try out. For me, the multiplayer was more fun than the campaign, at least the first bit of it. In multiplayer, it's just your hive and a large map with other bugs or players or whatever. Defend, conquer, explore, or whatever until you own everything. It offers a lot of freedom and ways to explore, and the game's design forces people to take their time and expand slowly, otherwise they get crushed quickly, as I unfortunately learned the hard way. I wasn't doing so good in multiplayer. Anyway, the single player was a bit droll, however, as I didn't really care much about the story or the reason for anything I was doing, and nothing ever really seemed to matter. The missions are done level by level. It's not really progressive. It's just go here, fight, return to HQ, rinse and repeat. I would have liked it if your actions had a visual impact on the home hive, or if there was some kind of show of the consequences of what you were doing. Maybe let us have choices so we could make further obvious changes for the betterment of the Federation, because that's what your colony is called, the Federation under the Queen. But as far as I could tell, no, that's not here. But still, the gameplay is engaging and interactive and definitely different from most games you see out there, especially in RTS versions. Next up for the positives is the tutorial. It's built into the main campaign story mode and helps you learn the game while also progressing its story, so it helps you get immersed while at the same time learning. It was also easy to understand and learn quickly without bogging you down too much or giving you too much information too quickly or anything like that, so that was a good thing. I liked the tutorial. It helped me learn how to play the game. And last but not least is the user interface and the stability. Now for me, the game never froze, crashed, dropped frames, or even had disconnection issues or lag during multiplayer, so that was awesome. The game is built nice and stable as far as I can tell. As for the user interface, it's a bit wonky and different from what I'm used to, but it was well designed and easy to understand and figure out after 5 minutes of looking at it. It's simple and elegant in its own design, and it makes sense when you think about what it is that you're playing as. Different, but not bad. Alright, so that's all the positives I could think of to talk about with the game. Now we gotta go on to the negatives, but first, take this rare opportunity to join my Royal Guard. How do you do that? By clicking on the subscribe button. Your application will be taken into account. But even if you don't feel like making such a commitment to the glorious Kingdom Rising, then at least show me some support by hitting the like button. You can also comment, and I try my best to speak with all my loyal subjects as much as I can. Also, I review games completely at random, and games themselves are completely random, so hit that bell because after all, you never know when or what I'm going to review something, and it might just be that something you've been missing out on. Alright? Alright. Now then, on to the negatives. The first negative for me was the sound design. Now, it's not awful, I want to make that very clear, but it wasn't amazing either. The sound effects for the combat is subpar and kind of goofy, and they don't really fit or match. They have all these different bug sound effects, which actually do sound good, however. The music is kind of bland and unoriginal, although it is large, so I'll give it that. And there's zero voice acting, despite the fact that adding voice acting here would have given the game some real charm. It's definitely missing out on that special something, and I just personally think that some great voice actors in there would have cinched it and really would have nailed it down. The next negative for me was the price tag. Despite everything going for this game, you're pretty much just paying for graphics. I mean, I suppose the RTS style is different from other things that we've seen, but it's not $40 different. Without voice actors or solid sound design, with a repetitive game loop that'll get boring after a couple days, and with a lackluster main campaign, I just feel like $40 was asking too much. To me, this game is worth $30, and it's not worth more than that, so pick it up on discount, I suppose. Okay, so I tried to think of anything else negative I could say about the game, and I couldn't really think of anything I hadn't already mentioned in either the pros or the cons. So I guess that's all I got. I could nitpick, but I don't really want to, and I don't really think I should. Overall, I think this game is pretty good, actually. It's a fun, quirky, interesting take on the RTS genre done in a very different way in almost every regard, which is super unique and refreshing. It's definitely something new and different and interesting. I don't feel like it'll have a very long shelf life, though, and let me explain. When you have a lacking main campaign that doesn't really pull you in, or a repetitive multiplayer without variation, it just feels like the game's not going to have a very long life. There's only one mode of play in multiplayer. I mean, technically two, but it's just one player versus another player, or three players all fighting each other. That's it. There's no scenarios, no missions, no unique types of multiplayer matches at all. It's just the same thing. And the campaign lacks any real depth to it. It's just go here and complete the task, then immediately return home to no noticeable changes or differences or significance. So it feels like nothing you're doing even matters or is worth anything. Now, perhaps I'm wrong, and these things will change with time spent in the game, but I'm not very confident. I guess what I'm trying to say is the game is a very interesting idea and is designed very well, but it doesn't have much of a future. It doesn't have much depth. You know, it's the size of an ocean, but the depth of a puddle. So if this kind of game, is kind of interesting to you, I would definitely suggest waiting on a discount. However, if you absolutely love the idea of this game and you love RTSs and you got to give it a try, then have no fear, it's not broken, so it'll work for you. I still don't feel it's worth a $40 price tag when you think of all the missed opportunities and lack of variations of gameplay. But still, it's not a bad little game, but it is a little game, which is why $40 might be too much. And I guess that's what irritates me. It's very well designed, it's very unique and interesting, it's a whole new way of looking at things, but it's lacking perspective, it's lacking dedication. They should have gone all in. Multiple multiplayer match types, branching paths, or investment choices with the colony. Seeing things change as you advance and move. They could have gone a single step further to create a much more in-depth kind of game here, and they simply didn't, which is why I'm very uncertain about the future of the game's stability. But that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.